So this is Jeffrey Dahmer Part 2 from the Federal Bureau of Investigations. So this is interview number 2. Here we go. So Jeff stated that his second murder was Stephen Chouambi, and it took place at the Ambassador Hotel. It was either 1986 or 1987. He couldn't really remember. He said he didn't want to kill Chouambi, but he had passed out, and when he came to the next day, he was laying on top of him. And obviously, he was dead. So Jeff realized he was dead, and he needed to do something with the body. So he went out and bought a large suitcase and came back to the Ambassador Hotel. So he put his body in the suitcase, and then he called a cab. He's lucky there's no bag searches where he is. He stated the cab driver helped him carry the suitcase in the car. It was very heavy, and he said it smelled really, really bad. He didn't respond to the cab driver, and he just stated he'd like to go to his grandma's house. So that's where he dissected and disposed of the body. Dahmer stated that he had another incident when he had a mummified head in a small chest in the closet. He stated that his locker was searched at one time, and the skull was found, but he had painted it with grey paint, and the investigator thought it was fake. So, lucky him. Dahmer also stated there was another incident, an investigation, because someone had killed on the 3rd floor. So he said that when the police came to the apartment to ask questions, he thought that he was going to get caught, because at the time he had a dead body on his bed. They wanted to ask him some questions. So he stated that they could look around the whole unit or apartment, but luckily for him, they must have been very lazy because they stood in the lounge room, and that was all. Dahmer also stated he wondered what it would be like to actually get caught. He also stated when he would look for these men, he would say he was prowling, but he did not drink to excess. That night, some police officers, they were standing outside his door. They did search the apartment, and they found skulls and immediately arrested him. Dahmer stated that he was relieved that it was over, and that he liked his lifestyle and found it exciting and thrilling, and he would have continued forever. He also stated the best place for him to go would be the penitentiary. He also stated he had a weird feeling inside of him striking him that felt like electricity. He could not get rid of it. Dahmer stated that he did have feelings, and he came to the conclusion that he was sick. He also stated that he dabbled a bit in the occult, the dark arts, and his favorite movie was The Exorcist 3. It helped him fit into his fantasy. He said he could create his own illusions, and he felt that he could create anything. He stated he was looking for a toll-free number that could help him, and he could speak anonymously and talk to a psychiatrist to try and get some help. He obviously did not make that call. Dahmer stated that his obsession was the only thing driving him to want to live. But without that, he stated that he thinks about suicide all the time, but he could not do it. He could not kill himself. Dahmer stated he did not have any interest in other serial killers, but he just got caught up in his own fantasies. He really just wanted to know what it felt like to kill, which he did. He did write some of his horrific thoughts down. he did have some diaries, and the police asked for those diaries. Dahmer stated that he would be willing to hand them over, no problem. He stated that he wrote down the sex acts and the controlling of the people. He stated that he loved control. He loved control of another person, and it was his fantasy, and it would build his excitement. That's when he would ejaculate and be more pleasurable. He stated that hunting, going out, was a thrill for him, and he did it every night. He did have a fantasy that he said it was a bit weird, but he would lick the blood off the deceased victims. He stated he felt like a dark vampire. Dahmer stated that some of his victims were nice and personable, and he did feel embarrassed over what he had done. Dahmer stated that he felt sincere in what he was saying, and did not want to play any games. He laid it all on the table for all to see and hear. He stated that he went to the gay bars nearly every night, and there were some women who tried to befriend him, but he turned them down. Dahmer stated that he did not know if he would kill the victim or not when he took them home. He said it was not premeditated. He also stated that he would sleep with the victim in his bed and cuddle them, spoon them, all night until he was satisfied. Dahmer also stated that he had some sex toys that he used to use on himself and the victim. He also stated he would lay on the bed sometimes with the dildo and suck it, while he thought of horrible fantasies in his head while laying next to the victim. He stated he could not control his feelings at all, and if he was not in prison, he would be doing the same thing. He stated he would continue to kill. Alright guys, that's it for part 2. Let me know if you want part 3.
Monday, I go back to work Sunday nights.
Oh,
and,
boy. So you go back to work this Sunday night?
Right. Yep.
You're looking good though, you look nice and trim.
Oh, that's good to hear.
You look like you're working out.
No.
Aren't you?
Oh, I haven't worked
Looking
out.
at Jeff, he looks entirely normal, clean cut, very nicely dressed, responds very sociably. You still keep up your that he had recently killed people.
No, I've been surviving on McDonald's food for, since I moved down there.
Well, you're looking good. Grandma was saying
Thanks.
that she thought that you got quite a bit thinner, but you look fit. I don't know.
Well, I've been surviving mostly on McDonald's food. It's just so much easier just to pop into a restaurant. But
Yeah,
like I've said before, it gets too expensive, and
it does.
I have to start eating at home more.
And of course, you woke up at what, 8 this morning?
Right.
And then you cleaned up your apartment really nicely so you could show us what it looks like.
Yeah, I want you to come over if you feel like it. I haven't done any dusting or vacuuming or anything. I do that on Sundays. But
Do you know who the other person is there? That beautiful blonde sitting on the couch? Yawning?
And Sherry.
That's right.
And who is this?
Yes.
That's Cousin Jeff.
Yes.
Oh, that word. Did you see what he did? He stomped me.
Looks like a bunch of satisfied people sitting around here.
Did you get Topper and Mary's last?
Yes.
I think you can't deny the fact that he was pursuing pleasures.